All right, welcome back, everybody, for what is normally members first content. But this week, unfortunately, I didn't get this done in time. Father's Day was this weekend, and then I got hung up on the Star Wars show. I was going to only be on there for a little bit, and then I stayed for the whole show. And with that, I didn't have time to get my Wednesday watch list done for New Comic Book Day, June 21st, 2021, done yesterday. So I'm doing this Monday afternoon. It's already after 4:30. So the chances of me getting this to members first are pretty slim. So it's probably going to go out to everybody as soon as I'm done filming and editing, so you guys can all get a jump on this week's new release books. Hopefully you're enjoying this series as well as everything else here on the channel. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Please like, subscribe, hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing the channel. And if you want to see what books I have my eye on this week, just hang on for a few seconds after the intro and I will be right back. Okay, so for this week, what do we got to look forward to? There's a few things. There's not a ton. We'll see how we go through this rundown, but there are a few things to keep an eye out for, but not really a ton that I would say that we've had in recent weeks where things have really been lighting up the aftermarket with pre-sales. I should say, we can't even say aftermarket because books aren't even out yet. These are pre-sale prices, but I don't see a lot of movement yet this week on a lot of this stuff, so we'll have to wait and see how everything plays out come Wednesday. But it doesn't mean I don't still have things that I'm either looking for, can't wait for, or have already pre-ordered for myself. And with that, let's get right into it with something I decided that we needed. We needed this for this show. We needed something at the front. While I've covered things at the front, I think we're going to have this section be our buzz books. So these are going to be things there's a lot of buzz people are looking forward to, a lot of talk leading into some of these books, things that people have been looking forward to, in some cases, a couple of months now. So with that, this week's buzz books are going to be Essentia. Essentia number 17. This is the final coupon. If you've been watching, I've been telling you about these. This is the final coupon you're going to need to submit for either the Frank Miller or the J. Scott Campbell variant cover. So much like the old days of the 90s with that like Unity from Valiant or those Image coupon books, there are 5 coupons that ran through issues 13, 14, 15, 16, and now for the final one with issue 17 that you'll have to mail back to Wake Comics to get either the Frank Miller or the J. Scott Campbell. As I understand it, it's going to be random. So I know I'm hoping for the J. Scott Campbell, but if you get the Frank Miller, he is still a legend. Let's not forget that. I just hope it's better than some of the covers we've seen lately. That all said, just keep an eye on this one. It could be tough to find. If you can't find it, there is always buying it directly from Torpedo. So keep that in mind as well. So before you go rushing to eBay and paying aftermarket prices on some of these things, go check Torpedo directly if you want to get a hold of any of these copies of Ascension. They even have some of the back issue ones too. If you need to fill out some of the coupons so you can get the whole thing to submit them, there's a shot there. It might even be a better idea to try to do that if you can. So this way you combine the shipping, and you go and buy in that way. Because who knows how much one of those books are going to come, be once we do get around to getting them. I'm curious to see. I just kind of want to take a shot. I actually am planning to get enough to get 2 submissions. So we'll see if I get 1 and 1. And hopefully I just get at least 1 J. Scott Campbell. That's all I'm hoping for by submitting 2 sets, or at least that's my plan. So with that, let's see what other books we got as far as the buzz books go for this week, because I know you guys have probably read stories, FOCs mentioning this in the coming weeks, that we are getting Diana Prince's daughter, Trinity, or I think that'll be her superhero name. I can't remember what her regular name is. I don't know, but this will be the cover where she's featured on the cover as far as the new character go, and probably be the one most people will gravitate towards for this Wonder Woman 800 issue. It's a milestone issue. There are a ton of covers for this, but like I said, I'm showing this one in the middle because this is the one that features Trinity, the new character that again, this is not a secret. This has been known for a while now, so I expect print runs to be pretty high. This will probably not be hard to find. So keep that in mind. Don't go overbuying just because it's a new character, new first appearance is the next best thing. She's going to be as big as SpiderBoy, who we'll get to in a minute. But multiple covers on this. As I said, even the cover A is pretty good here. And there is also a foil edition, which is $1 more. This regular issue is already $6.99. Keep that in mind as well. The issue 800, which is probably a little bit oversized because it's a milestone, it's already $6.99. The foil edition here, which has a pretty cool cover, kind of like a Linda Carter TV show kind of vibe to it to me, that one is $7.99 at the shop. So it already has an extra dollar on that cover price. And now you guys know I don't normally do store exclusives and things like that, but sometimes I will mention things because, well, I like them. And I did order them because, well, I'm a fan. I got a little bit more to talk about David Nakayama today, but you guys know I'm a David Nakayama fan, so I did want to get a hold of this exclusive from Midtown. It's from Midtown, so again, not going to be hard to find. Print runs will not be small. I don't expect this to be something that anybody should invest in. I just like the artist and I like the cover, so I bought it for myself. I think it's $12.99 for the color version, and I think it's $19.99 for the black and white version of Diana there. And you can see, look at it. I think it's also in partnership with Whatnot in some way. Again, not saying anything's going to happen with this book. I just like the artist and I like the art, so that's why I'm showing it here. And like I said, I bought it for myself, so that's why I'm bringing it up. And with that, we're going to move on to SpiderBoy, our last buzz book for this week. This has been known for, it feels like months now, that we're going to get the origin for whatever it might be and however detailed it might be of who Bailey is, Spider-Boy. So I'm sure a lot of people looking forward to this. But as I said, this was announced by the creator months ago. I think Dan Slott said something. So this has not been a secret. There are multiple exclusives on this book. There are multiple incentives on this book. This already has 1 in 100 and 1 in 200 copies, incentives on this because of so many exclusives, I think. And as far as the print run goes, it'd be very high. I'm not even bothering showing the 1 in 25 because realistically, who cares? Like, don't go investing in a 1 in 25. You like the cover, buy it for yourself, but do not expect to be making money. It's like, well, it's a 1 in 25 and we're getting the origin. It's not going to matter. People are going to gravitate towards those higher ratios if this means anything to anyone anyway. It's not a first appearance, it's an origin. So keep that in mind too. Do not go overbuying and overspending for something like this. Yes, I'm curious as well, but there's nothing different that you're not going to get in the regular book that you're going to get in a 1 in 200. And it's not like these are the most, breathtaking covers in the world. Yes, it's pretty nice, but I think without the trade dress, that Ramos cover actually looks a little bit empty. And as far as the 1 in 200 goes, yes, the yellow might pop a bit, but the background is so empty from the Bagley. I wish there was something there. I'm just not really into either of these as far as investing goes. And doesn't look like a lot of people are. The 1 in 100 pre-sales, as you can see here, it's pre-selling right around ratio, $90, $100. There are a couple copies sold. Granted, I only found 1 copy sold recently, which was on June 18th, which was yesterday. The other copies that pre-sold go all the way back to May. So that's not a lot of buzz. There were books last week that I talked about, especially those 1 in 25s. And I told you, even at the time, like, yes, on going into the Wednesday watch list, I'm watching those 1 in 25 second print variants. You remember that? Couple of pre-sales. Then come Thursday, when I was doing my top 10 list, my top 10 and 10, I couldn't put any of those books on there because none of them sold. Like, once Wednesday actually hit, nobody was buying the books anymore. So I couldn't put the books on the top 10 list, or at least put them on my top 10 list, if all we had to go on were pre-sales before the book came out. And then when people had them in hand, nobody was selling any of them. So keep an eye on that too. Because just because pre-sales are going on doesn't mean that things are going to happen once the books actually hit shelves. That's why I'm looking ahead and watching, because more often than not, people get FOMO and they spend ratio, double ratio, etc. going in because they're worried they're not going to be able to get a copy at their shop. They're worried that it's going to be the next big thing and they don't want to miss out. So they prepay early, sometimes a month or 2 months early for some of these ratio incentives. And then once they hit, nothing happens. So it's a gamble. It is a gamble because sometimes these books do hit, and buying it at double ratio, right around ratio, could be a bargain. And then when it hits and it pops, it's the next huge thing. Then you did get a good deal, but it is a gamble. Just be aware of that too. But right now, those pre-sale prices don't look too good considering we already have copies available for pre-sale, more like $90 and $85. So the price is already going under ratio. And this is the 1 in 100. Why is that happening? Well, again, a lot of covers, a lot of exclusives, a lot of copies, and not a lot of interest, it looks like. It is just the origin. And there is a higher ratio too, which also kind of cuts this off at the knees because there's a 1 in 200 to look at. So what is this thing doing? Well, the 1 in 200, some pre-sale prices, 150, 200, 170. Most of those ones are in June. So these are released in the last couple of weeks as far as those pre-sales go. So those are more recent to give a feeling that more people might be into it because it's the highest ratio, the hardest to, I guess, obtain. But asking prices, there are copies out there, full ratio, about 200 bucks, 190. And there's $145 is the cheapest one out there with free shipping. So that's under ratio with free shipping. It's got 8 watchers right now, but you know, take that for what it is. If you want to go and buy into these things, feel free. I do not like buying such high ratio incentives, especially near ratio, because it's just too expensive. It's just logistically, it's too expensive. Like, I don't feel comfortable spending $150 for a book that's brand new. Because of the reason is, well, it's a high ratio incentive. Great. Other than that, why is anybody going to care down the line? I don't know. So I'm just cautious. Personally, I got a budget. I don't know about you guys. I got a budget, so I don't like spending that much money on new release books. I will buy the occasional incentive, the occasional exclusive, even because I like the cover, and I go, you know what, 30 bucks, it's a lot for a new release book, but I like it, so I'm going to buy it. 20 bucks, etc. I'll do that occasionally. We deal with these high ratio incentives, and we're starting to get into bigger numbers. I know $150, $200 may not mean a lot to some of you. I mean, you might, be more well off than most. So they might not mean anything to you, and you can just go buy it and you put it in your box. You don't look at it ever again. You just know you have it and you're happy to have it in your collection. Nothing wrong with that. If you have the means, go ahead, do what you want. But if you're a Wednesday warrior, don't go gambling on this thing to be a wise investment. Be like, well, I grabbed it at my shop. It was only 150. I think I got a good deal. Maybe, but I don't know if we're going to see the prices do anything more than this. I mean, it could be wrong. It's just, again, it's not a first. It's an origin story. It's only part of this issue. And I don't know. We'll see what happens. Don't want to harp on it too much. But that said, there are things I'm looking forward to reading. And I do plan on reading this. I do want to know the origin because, like I've been saying, we don't know anything about this SpiderBoy. I don't feel comfortable throwing out the amounts of money people are spending, 50 bucks here, 50 bucks there for this regular issue just because, oh, first appearance, first cover. We don't even know who the character is. We don't know why this is even worthwhile yet. So until I get a little bit more of the story, I don't like throwing that much money at this. But I'm looking forward to reading this. I'm looking forward to reading Wonder Woman 800, and I'm looking forward to checking out that Essentia too. But apart from those, let's just get into my regular reading list, some books that I can't wait to kind of check out, and that includes Nightwing. Been reading Nightwing lately. It's been solid. It's just been a good run. I've been enjoying reading this Nightwing run of late. So Tom Taylor's been doing a good job. This issue in particular, I believe, has a little special hook to it, where I think the entire issue is going to be told from first-person perspective and drawn that way. So while you can't see it here in this B cover, I really like this B cover. Limited trade dress. There is a foil version of this that's a higher ratio incentive. We'll get to that later. But the regular cover, as well as here's the 1 in 25, you could see that it's from the first person perspective. So that's what we're talking about here. So in a reflection, you see Nightwing's face, but everything is really going to be from his vantage point throughout the issue, as I understand it, which again is a unique little take. I like when they mess around with that kind of stuff every once in a while. So one-off issue, great. 1 in 50 here. Again, it's the same image, but it's going to be a foil version. And they're out there. I'm mad I actually missed it. One did come up today for sale and sold for only 15 bucks. I would have been in for 15 bucks for this in a foil version. Again, I'm not a big DC foil fan. I've told you multiple times. I think it's pretty dull, and it even looks pretty dull here. But 1 in 50, cool cover, series that I like. 15 bucks, I would have been in. So somebody got one for 15. Other than that, sales have still been under ratio, 35, 45. But that 45 goes back to May. Only those 2 issues have sold within the last couple of days as far as this 1 in 50 pre-sale goes. And like I said, so pre-selling under ratio. So don't know what that means come Wednesday, whether people will start, paying up for it. But if you did want to go and buy one ahead of time, there were only 2 that I could find right now. One that wanted 60 bucks to starting bid, and the other one's at $7 right now. But again, it's going to run all the way to Friday. That is Comic Biz, and you've seen I put Comic Biz on here a lot because they put these up for auction, and then they see where everything lands. That's cool. Nothing wrong with that. So if you want to take a shot, there you go. You can take your shot. Other books that I want to read. We're getting a new Hulk. I'm kind of curious to see where the new direction, new angle is. I like this Gleason cover. I think it's called like the Elemental cover or something like that. So Patrick Gleason did a pretty cool. You remember he did all those webhead covers. So are we going to get a series of these now with this Hulk kind of vibe? I don't know, but I like it. There is a 1 in 100 as well. Just as an FYI, it is not selling for ratio. I think a lot of the issues have been listed in more in that like 70 $80 kind of range. So again, keep an eye on it, but we'll see what happens come Wednesday. I don't know how many exclusives there are for the Hulk. I'm sure there are a few. I just haven't noticed a lot of them. I've noticed more of the Spideys because, hey, let's give SpiderBoy the ASM 300 treatment. Let's give him the Spider-Man 1 treatment. Let's remake Secret Wars 8. Let's remake every Spider-Man cover with SpiderBoy and make it an exclusive. It's been done and is being done. So lots of those. Hulk, don't know. But I'm sure there are probably plenty of homages for other Hulk covers that we'll see now coming out for this book as well. Because we got another new #1. But I still want to read it. Like I said, new direction. Kind of curious. See if it's going to be, what it's going to be like. I don't know if it's going to be more like the Immortal Hulk run. Is it going to be more like that Bruce Jones run from a while back? Just want to see the direction they kind of take this. Saga. Well, got to read Saga, right? So we're getting a new issue, Saga, issue 65. So go to check that out, obviously, this week too with the read. And I believe my last one that's on my reading list that I can't wait to check out is our return to the Ultimate Universe. Just curious. I want to see what's going to happen with this, see where they're going to go with this. So Brian Hitch is bringing it back, or Hickman and Brian Hitch, I should say, bringing back the Ultimate Universe. I just showed the cover A, and then just for, because I like it, the negative space Miles, which I think is pretty cool. I think it's John Tyler Christopher on that one. I think this is like an $8 book, $7 or $8 too. So keep that in mind as well. It's like $6.99 or $7.99 or something. So it's not cheap. It might even be $8.99. I don't know. This is an expensive book, so I think it's gonna be oversized. Keep that in mind. Multiple covers. I'm only showing you these two for now. And like I said, I did pre-order the negative space one because I like the negative space covers. So I'm gonna get one of those to begin with. But I do want to read this as well to see where they're going with it. Now I had a similar section like this next one coming up. We're just gonna call these not great. So no, I know I've been pretty hard on Rob Liefeld and doing it in like the bad cover kind of section. I don't want to call them bad covers. I don't want to be that judgmental. I just say these ones they're just not great. So just to me, just not a fan. Hey, it's opinions, can vary. I'm not the authority here, so one person, its art is, it's objective. So somebody might like these, but for me, I mentioned multiple Wonder Woman 800 covers. I do not like this Brian Boland. I just don't like it. I don't know. When I looked at this, first thing I saw was LaToya Jackson. But not in a good way. I just looked at it. It's like I just don't care for this. I just don't like it. So hey, if you like it, God bless you. Go ahead, you can buy it. But this is not the one I'm grabbing off the shelf. And we talked about this next one that was on the Star Wars show yesterday. I've told you, I'm a big fan of David Nakayama. I am. I'm a big fan of his art. I buy multiple copies of his covers when I can, half the time, and I will buy the covers. This particular Mando cover, not really into it. Not really into it. Just Grogu is just, I don't know, it's just too chubby looking. I don't know. There's something just I don't know. It just doesn't look like Grogu to me. It's kind of something doesn't look right. Like this is his head. Like it's just too much face going on there. I don't know, but it's just not for me. So I don't like this one. I like the Gist cover that has Raylan Givens on it, I think. Anyway, don't want to keep confusing things, mixing things up, but you know what I'm talking about. But these are the covers that are not great this week. Sure, there's probably plenty more, but these are the two that kind of jumped out at me that I thought I'd throw into this little section. So I'm not picking either of these up. Despite the fact that, again, I am a fan of DNA. I just don't care for this one. Everybody can miss, right? Everybody bats 1,000%. So here we go. Homage covers. I like doing this segment too. There's might be more than what I have here. These are ones that just kind of caught my eye when I was scrolling through the release list, and I'm not going to get all of these. It's just they were kind of interesting. So these are the things I just kind of play it by ear, and sometimes I'll grab them just because, you know what, I do kind of like this. Might as well. Whatever. First one being the Mighty Barbarians, which you can see it's a Justice League homage. So you got that classic Guy Gardner kind of thing going on here. Granted, they don't have as many characters as the original, but you see it even, and they do it with the trade dress. I like that when they can match everything out. Yeah, it's pretty well done. And they've been doing this a lot. Ablaze, I know I've had a bunch of these Ablaze ones on here, and they've been picking some interesting things to homage. So that one I thought was pretty cool. Image also decided to go outside the box with this weird one, doing a Tales of Suspense. So Tales of Suspense #1. It's a new series they're starting. Apparently, there's going to be a couple of horror type tales inside of it. I like that they did a throwback to this classic Tales of Suspense issue 59. I had to look and figure it out, which one it was. And then once I found it, I'm like, there it is. You got the Cap, you got the Iron Man. Well done. Well done. This is also, I believe, a 1 in 10 for this Tales of Suspense out of Image. So keep that in mind as well if you're out there shopping for it. That it might not be on the wall. It might be up on, it might not be with the regular new releases. It might be up on the wall because it's a 1 in 10 incentive. But ask your retailer if you're interested. Again, it's probably right around ratio right now. I didn't bother doing pricing on it because I don't want to do pricing on everything. Again, this is a watch list. We're looking ahead. If something jumps out at me, feels like it's worth noting, I will. But here's another weird title. I think I'll have 2 of these in here. But Sweetie, Candy Vigilante. Pretty cool heavy metal homage there, right? So I put this in here because I was like, it's heavy metal. Kind of cool. I'm probably not going to get this one, but I still thought it was kind of fun. So if you're a fan of heavy metal, there you go. Maybe you're interested in this issue 6. But again, I'm going to have another one of these in the list because, again, just caught my eye a little bit later. But we're not getting to the covers yet. First, we're going to hit up the later prints. So with the later prints this week, we got a few. We've got a Punchline, the Vaudevillains #1. This is the second print for this issue here. The first print is basically the same. I think it was more of a black cover, so it's just a recolored version of it. But there's a second print if you are interested there. Over at Image, Supermassive also has a second printing. I told you about what Image has been doing lately, so we've been seeing more and more of these later printings because they are not overprinting to start. So when books start selling out, we start getting more, subsequent printings like this second print here, or the third printing here for Indigo Children #1. So if there's enough of a demand, they keep selling out, they'll go back to the printer. That makes sense. That's a model that makes sense. So things sell out, then we'll make more. Doesn't seem all that revolutionary, but it seems to be working for them right now. Marvel also is doing a couple second prints. This Invincible Iron Man run seems to have a second print for every issue. So we got another one here for issue 6. And I don't know if you guys have seen the recent, I guess I don't know if it's FOC or whatever announcements, but apparently Tony Stark and Emma Frost are apparently going to be getting hitched for whatever reason. I haven't been reading this, so I don't know what the heck's going on, but now I'm kind of curious. So to see why they're getting married, and is this going to last? Like, what happened to Cyclops? I don't know. Anyway, second print here as well as Spider-Man 2099. So remember that first Blade 2099 issue? We talked about that before. So this Dark Genesis series is getting a second print for that first appearance of Blade. Granted, I don't care for this cover as much as the first printing, but hey, it is what it is. You can't find that first printing, you're going to have a shot at a second print here. It's not terrible. It's got a little bit of a Samurai Jack kind of feel to it, but I don't know, just a little bit dark. I think that's my problem with it. I think it's a little too dark for my taste here. But that said, we do have a Silk #1 second print. So this new Silk run, second print there. I kind of like that it's kind of washed out with the color, but nobody's unfortunately going to care about this issue because Marvel's done it again, and they've given us an incentive. That's Peach Momoko incentive here on the second print. So this is the one everybody cares about now. So this is the one that they are all going to be shooting for. And this one has already been doing a little bit of something on the pre-sale market here. So let's see where we're at. Pre-sale prices, 45, 44. Granted, those were back in May. As I said, it's last month's pre-sales, and all of them actually, and a best offer on $60. So all these pre-sales were at least a month ago. People, pre-buying, worrying about missing out because, as you can see, there's one copy available right now, and they're asking $200 for it. $200 for a 1 in 25 second print incentive. You already know my answer if I'm going to buy that. You do what you want, but I just think things are getting a little out of hand with these incentives on second printings. Let's remember what second printings and third printings are. They are reprints. They are not the first appearances of anything. There's nothing wrong with collecting them. There's nothing wrong with that. But let's just slow down with how much money we start throwing at some of these things. I think it's getting out of hand, and I think you might come to regret it. That's all. I could be wrong, but I'd rather be wrong and miss out on a 1 in 25 incentive on a second printing than, you know, than be right, I guess, and spend this money and be like, hey, I don't know. I don't know. I'd rather be wrong. I'd just I play it safe. I got plenty of other books I'd like to throw my money at because for $200, I can get a lot of books this week. That's all I'm saying. You got $200 to spend this week on comic books. I'm just not putting it into this one. That's all. Maybe that's the best way to say it. Again, I don't want to harp on things, tell you what not to do. I just feel like, again, some of these things look like they're getting a little out of hand. It's my opinion, for what it's worth. But let's just get into the covers I do like. There's a few covers this week that I just kind of want to show off, and be like, you know what? Some of these things are kind of catching my eye. Will I get them all? No. I can't afford to buy all of them. But some of them, I'll be like 50-50 on the day and then maybe throw it in the pile. Like this. Black Adam. Not been reading the Black Adam series, but the final issue, issue 12, does have a John Jiang cover, and he's been killing it lately with some cool covers. A lot of interest in his cover art. This is just a regular cover here, so it's not an incentive. So I don't expect it to get too hot or too pricey, but if you like it, just go buy it. That's all. Just like here, talked about Nakayama. I keep showing you Nakayama covers because I like them, and I do order the Catwoman's because, again, I am a fan, and on a blind, I buy most of these Catwoman's pre-order, like order them well in advance, and just see his name, and I go, all right, I'm getting it. So I am getting this one for 56, and we'll get back to this later. There's an incentive as well on this, but we'll get to that. The Superboy is actually kind of cool. I don't know, something about it just kind of grabbed my eye. So Superboy 3, it almost looks a little bit like a trading card. I don't know, like just I like how he's breaking the frame there, and I like the red, makes it pop. It just kind of catches my eye. So just figured I'd throw that out there. And then we do have a Starfire Jen Bartel cover, I believe, on this one. Just kind of like it. And this is on Titans number 2, which also kind of interesting. I could have put this in the reading list because I do want to see where this is going. But this is Titans number 2. Yeah, pretty interesting cover for Jen Bartel. I don't know if it's a must buy, but it is one of those 50-50. I'll have to see what it looks like in hand kind of choices. You know, because these days, the card stocks, these B covers, it charge that extra bucks. And now these are $5 instead of $4. So I go, well, do I need it? Can I just spend $4 and get the cover A? Like, is it $1 better? Is it $1 better than the cover A? It's a decision sometimes you got to make. Also, we ran through this on Star Wars yesterday of looking ahead, and I do like a bunch of these Bounty Hunters covers. So this is, I think, an Alex Maleev, maybe? I think it's Maleev. I'm not sure, but awesome cover for number 35 here. Other covers as well. Got that one, and we got a Dirge one here, which is, I think, is In-Hyuk Lee. So multiple covers. I don't know if I'll get them all. I did order 2 of these, and I'm going to play it by ear when I go to the shop to maybe get the third. We'll see. I don't know. I do like these. I ordered, like I said, I did order the 2 for certain, the first 2, and then the Dirge. I'm going to play it by ear on the Dirge and see what it looks like in hand. Why do I need 3 copies of this book? I don't, but you know, I like covers and I like cover art. So sometimes I do buy multiples just because, well, I feel like I need it. And much to my, much to the dismay of my wallet, I get a lot of books that I probably don't need for doing that. So that's why I don't like that these publishers keep doing so many covers. I wish they would do a little bit less and, spread them out a little bit more. That said, I did order this. I do like this Gist cover on Mandalorian Season 2, number 1. I have no interest in reading the guts of this book since I've already seen the episodes. I think these adaptations are a waste of time, but at the same time, it's just a way for them to sell me a $5 piece of art if I like the covers. So they got me. But I do like E.M. Gist. Apart from him, he's a good dude. I do like his art. So I do like the quality of this art. So I did order one. Couple other cool things. I do like these corner box variants. It looks like Mark Brooks is doing a couple of these. I mentioned the one last week. We got a Vision one this week on Avengers 2. I do kind of want to read this, see where this is going. Yeah, the first issue wasn't all that great, but it's set up, so we'll see where it's gonna go. It wasn't terrible. I think Marco said it was terrible. It wasn't terrible. It was what it was. They're setting up a team, so we'll see where they're going here with issue 2 with the follow up. I do like this next book. I think this is also I think this is a Peach. And again, I am not trying to run down Peach because I'm not gonna buy a 1 in 25 second print incentive cover, but this one's kind of cool. This is Danny Ketch Ghost Rider, I think issue 2. I don't know. I don't know if I'll definitely get it, but it is a pretty cool cover. I like this almost like a Western movie poster kind of vibe here for Guardians of the Galaxy #3. Just probably gonna get this one again. I haven't read these yet, but I plan on reading these to try to catch up. I do like Guardians, so I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt, and I'm grabbing issue 3, sight unseen at this point to see the direction of these books. But looks like we're getting space Western. Are we getting Firefly? I don't know. Again, I only got a limited amount of time, and I read as many books as I can, but I do buy more than I can read. And I do so, admittedly. I tell you which ones I don't read, and I haven't been reading Guardians, but I'm telling you, I've been liking some of these covers, and like I said, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt and start reading it soon. But with that said, I don't know if I'm going to grab the annual here. I'm not a big fan of annuals. I feel like it's just another way of just another cash grab. Again, more money out of my wallet for a book that's not in the regular run. Do I need it? And yeah, they're generally more expensive too. But Scarlet Witch, for whatever reason, we're only on like issue 5. We're getting an annual. Like, shouldn't this run 12 issues before we get an annual? Like, am I crazy? But whatever reason, we're getting an annual. This is a Jimmy Chung cover. I like it. There's a Daughterman cover as well. I like that as too. But I don't know if I need this. Let alone I can't get both. What do I buy 2 annuals for? What am I gonna do with those? I don't know. But they are nice. They're nice. But we'll see. Again, this one I'm on the fence about. I didn't order it ahead of time. Not on my pull list. I'll see. I like this. Sway. You guys know I am a fan. So Deja Thoris, I like this cover. Problem is, it's Dynamite. There's multiple versions of it, so who knows which one to get. But I did want to point this one out because I think it's a pretty cool cover. And we'll get back to Sway soon because we've got something coming up later. Camp Pickens. Don't know anything about this Archie horror book, but it's Archie horror. Chilling Adventures presents Camp Pickens. Thought this was kind of cool. It looks almost like a movie poster kind of thing going. It's a one shot. So there's I think also a Francavilla cover, which wasn't bad, but it wasn't like a must buy. So I went with this one as far as what to show. And even this, I don't know if I'm definitely going to buy it. This will be an impulse thing. Like if I like it, flip through the book and it seems like it might be a solid read, then maybe I'll grab it. But not committed to it yet. Granted, I'll be honest, I'm not going to buy this next book, but it did catch my eye. Going back to that Sweeties Candy Vigilante book, again, we had that heavy metal homage earlier. This one is a Simcoe cover. So Joe Simcoe, who you guys know, the classic Garbage Pail Kids artist. So if you're a fan, this one's probably going to be for you too. As you can see, it looks like a Garbage Pail Kid. That's why it caught my eye. But to be fair, I'm probably not buying this because I just don't really know much about this series and don't really have a lot of interest in it, apart from this cover caught my eye. But most likely not buying it. But it's still kind of cool, right? So I still want to show it, and maybe somebody else does want it. Maybe you guys are a bigger fan of the Garbage Pail Kids and that style than I am, and you just definitely want it. I just feel like this week I just can't. I already feel like I spent enough. That said, AWA has a new series. Oh no, this is wrapping up this series. This Red Zone, not a new series. This Red Zone. This is a Michael Cho cover. I dig this. Get that spy movie poster, almost like a paperback kind of thing going. I dig it. I like Michael Cho's style as well. I like this cover. And then there's also a Raza cover, which ain't bad either. Flames. So again, these caught my eye. I thought they were pretty cool. So yeah, keep an eye out for them. With that, let's get to our incentives and wrap this up. The incentives this week, they're not a ton, but a couple cool ones. I did buy this next one. I occasionally buy the Godzilla covers because, again, I like IDW, and this was a pretty cool Godzilla cover to me. Something with the old ship, like a pirate ship. This is Godzilla. Here They Be Dragons, which there is a regular cover, which actually I had to get that too. So I got the 1 in 10 and I got the regular because I do like the trade dress on it. The trade dress actually helps frame it out a little bit, but I just decided to get the 1 in 10 as well. I pre-ordered from like Midtown. It was like $13, which is a little over ratio, but it's like, you know what? Well, I don't know a shop near me that's going to order 10 copies of Godzilla. So if I do want it, I probably should pay the extra $3. So I did because I did want it. Again, just for me. Uh, there's also a 1 in 25, which wasn't bad, but again, I'm not investing or specking on this or anything. I just think it's a cool cover and I just wanted it. As far as what it's selling for, well, it's right around ratio. You got copies selling for $8 up to $18. So that's how these IDW 1 in 10s go. They you can get some cheap, you get some a little bit more, hit double ratio, but that's really the upper number unless it hits. Like the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon one hit for a time, and that was like a $80 book all of a sudden, and then kind of settled in a little bit under that. So you never know. Asking prices on this one, however, even online, going to eBay, they're like 12, 15, $18. So, like I said, I grabbed one from Midtown. I think they still have some available. I think it was like $13 or something. So that's the way I went since I was buying those Midtown Wonder Womans I mentioned anyway. So, I don't know, I'll just make it a pile. Trying to see if I can get up to free shipping. That said, going back to that Tales of Suspense, there is a 1 in 25 for that book as well. Yeah, pretty cool cover. It's creepy, right? I dig it. It's not quite a virgin because the little trade thing is kind of right there down the center. It's a little different take, but still kind of cool. This is a 1 in 25, mind you, which is not an impossible incentive to reach. But considering I didn't know anything about this series going into this week, I don't know what kind of buzz it had at shops. So I don't know if a lot of shops have ordered 25 copies to get this. And I'll tell you one thing I noticed is that no copies are sold and there are no copies available. So this one could be tough. This could be a tough one to find. Does that mean when copies do come to market, they're going to be pricey? Maybe. We just don't know right now. I'll take a look at it on Thursday to see if it makes the list for our top 10. But right now, with no sales, it's obviously not hot. I'm just saying there's nothing out there. That's all. So just kind of curious. This cover just kind of caught my eye. It is a Venom cover, Venom 21. I think we're getting a new Venom or something in the story. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't been keeping up with my Venom, but this cover, it's got a Clayton Crane vibe to it, but it's not Clayton Crane. I thought it just kind of caught my eye. It's kind of cool with the face coming out of the top of the head, and then you still got the tongue, and you got a little bit of the flesh going. It just seemed cool. Like I like the colors. I like it looks painted, like the background. I just something about it caught my eye. It's only right around ratio right now as far as copies selling, $25 thereabouts for the 1 to 25, and then copies available, 20, 25, $28. So right around ratio. It's I don't expect this to be much more. Again, there's probably gonna be plenty of these. I think Venom still has a decent following, so I think there's plenty printed. But it was kind of a cool cover. So I don't know, just kind of caught my eye. And if you're interested, Batgirls, I believe, is wrapping up with this issue 19. I think this is the final issue. So them having 1 in 25 on this cover could make this one worth noting. Right now, it's not moving for anything above ratio or anything like that, but it could get popular. Who knows? Who knows? It's one of those last issues. Last issues could sometimes do. So think about last issue incentives. We'll see what happens. I just thought the cover was kind of cool, pretty bright with the colors. I like the pinks and the purples and the yellows. It was kind of vibrant, kind of dug it. So I threw it in here. But again, no pricing on it. We'll see what happens later in the week. Another 1 in 25, Ben Oliver, Soups, Bats, cool. World's Finest, number 16. I like it. Yes, there's a lot of empty space there with the like pea green kind of thing going on, but still, I do like Ben Oliver, and I thought this was a pretty cool cover. But again, not selling for much. Oh, it's like ratio and less. So it's nothing yet. But I keep an eye on it because, like I said, the cover art was pretty cool. Didn't feel like I needed to order this though, but it is kind of cool. There's one that I will look for and hope to get really cheap. That's the kind of thing I like to do. So hopefully I can get this one because I like the cover art, but I don't want to pay incentive prices just for that reason. The next one's kind of cool. I do like this Cyborg 1 in 25. It's got that. It looks like the old school Teen Titans spotlights from way back when. I dig it. So number 2, issue 2 for Cyborg, 1 in 25. No copies have sold. So I don't know what the market might be on this, apart from the fact that we got one out there and it's only a ratio, but there's only the one. So we'll see what happens. Granted, the book hasn't out yet, so we'll see what happens. And that looks like it's actually a physical copy somebody took a picture of. So that's in hand. They're selling ahead of time. But we'll see what happens. And it's Jetpack. So that's also a shop. So, keep that in mind too. I just think it's kind of cool. Something I'm paying attention to and keeping an eye on. We'll see what happens again later in the week. 1 in 50 foil, Catwoman 56, Sway. I like it. You're getting that kind of like, I don't know, just something cool about it. Like with the elevator doors closed and it's got a classy look to it. I think the colors here will play well with the foil because they are muted. Because again, that DC foil really mutes everything. But I think that works here in the sense of everything we got going on here with the lighting, black tie event, elevator doors, etc. I think it might work. Copies of this, not selling for a bunch yet. Look, copy sold for $30, $45. Pre-sales. Only that $30 pre-sale was recent. The other two, again, were like a month ago. But asking prices on this one are a little steeper right now. You can see 64, 90, 130 for this 1 in 50. So keep that in mind. We'll see what happens. These haven't sold for these prices yet. Will they? Maybe. We'll check it out. We'll see what happens at the end of the week. But right now, again, I can't call these things hot because they're not actually selling. 1 copy sold and it's over under ratio. That's it. That's in the last week. I'm not going to go back to 2 months ago. Like that's not really telling you what the market's doing. But this is what I got for this week. We'll see what happens as we get closer to Thursday. I'll take a look again once Wednesday hits and see what the market's actually doing on this book to see if it makes the cut. Asking prices feel like people want this to make it, but I don't know if it will. Same thing here with this 1 in 104 Mandalorian Season 2, Issue 1. It's a Virgin version. Again, solid Grogu here. You saw, I'm sorry, the DNA one just didn't do it for me. This is a decent Grogu. I don't know if I need the Virgin here with all that empty space at the top. I feel like it's just pretty empty, just having that sand just there. But yeah, it is what it is. People like Virgin covers for their 1 in 100s these days. No copies of this have sold yet. So we don't know what the market's willing to do. But given the popularity of some of the recent Jedi 1 in 100 specials, those one-shots, I think people are reaching based off of those. Because look at some of these asks of this 1 in 100, 225, $150. I mean, it's not terrible. I mean, it's a little bit more ratio. It is Star Wars. Granted, there might be, being Star Wars, I don't know if there's exclusives, but I'm sure there are probably a few. So keep that in mind as well. But then there's also $75. So under ratio out there, ask either. Nothing sold. So look at that range. 75 under ratio, $25 under ratio, and you got 225, which is double plus, but nothing sold. So we don't know yet. We'll find out later in the week if copies start moving. We'll see what happens once the issue hits shelves. And our last book, this is another 1 in 100 out of Image. Jeez, who's ordering 100 copies of this? This is a Jeff Lemire, Andrea Sorrentino book, Tenement. It's like Bone, I forget what it's, Bone Orchard Tenement. It's like a subtitle book. Or not subtitle, like, I think that's what it is. I think it's Bone Orchard and it's Tenement. But regardless, 1 in 100. Who's ordering 100 copies of these? Probably not many places, which is why I didn't see anything sell yet, and I don't see anything available. So we'll see if this sells at all this week. But it was interesting. Why did they make a 1 in 100 for this? Like, I don't understand sometimes when they do incentives this high for a title that I don't see the demand of why. Like, who are they pushing to get this book? I don't know. It baffles me. So it's like Boom does that a lot with some of those titles. I'll show you those. There's 1 in 75s and 1 in 100s. Like, why do they have such high ratios? Are there really people buying that many? I don't think so. I think they want to try to make a collectible that will make it interesting down the road. But anyway, we're not going to get into that. That's all I got. Well, Jesus, I ran almost over 40 minutes here. Me just talking. I got to go hit up the grill and start cooking dinner. Because like I said, it's now after 5 where I'm at recording this. And I'll try to get this out right away. Thank you for the support. Thank you for stopping by and checking this out. I appreciate you all. Again, sorry, members, I couldn't get to this to you guys early this week, but don't worry. I'll get you the other stuff that I normally do as the week goes on. Make sure you come back for all the other shows this week, and make sure you watch the boys live tonight at 9. If I can get this out before they go live, Get Off My Lawn will be live on the channel tonight, Monday. So with that, thank you again, and I'll see you all later with some more content. All right, bye.